So we are beginning a new semester today, and actually we started our new semester on Sunday. And this semester is probably going to be one of everyone's favorite semesters, because no matter what's going on in your life and who you are or what path you're on, you will find yourself in this semester, and this semester will inspire you. I feel very confident about that. And instead of having a book read, I have a movie see. So the movie is called Finding Joe, and you can find Finding Joe on our homepage and click right into Amazon.com to do an instant stream. I've heard it's also on iTunes. And you can purchase a DVD, which some people have told me they enjoyed it so much they just want to kind of have it in their library. I highly recommend watching it with your partners or with your teens. May that just walked in. You guys on the YouTube channel can't see May walking in, but she is a professor at Chapman University, and she liked it so much she included it in her curriculum for her students this year who loved it. So that's my plug for the movie. It's important to me that you watch the movie because the things I'll be making reference to will largely tie into parts of the film and things that are part of the semester, which is The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell is our teacher for this semester, and I will be, as I always do, threading other things into it. But for starters, I want to talk a little bit about Joseph Campbell and why I chose. Joseph Campbell was, my world is psychology prior to being yoga, and he was one of the teachers or teachings that really inspired me. He was known for being a philosopher, but also being an expert in mythology. And he first got interested in mythology from the Native Americans here in the States. And then from that love grew into just studying the Aboriginal cultures, Greek mythology, Arthurian mythology. If you're not familiar with that, it's the studies of King Arthur and the Holy Grail. And he looked all over, kind of like Csikszentmihalyi when we studied the flow state. He did something similar, which is he looked at all different cultures, different countries, and he was looking for their stories. What's their mythology? What's their stories? Where their history comes from that they brought forward through their storytelling. And what he found is that actually, let me back up a little bit and say that he really dissected all of these different stories from different cultures, and he diagrammed these different stories. And what he found through looking at all of them is that there was this one universal story in all of them, which was the hero's journey. The hero's journey. So, a little plug for the movie again. I could have you read Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, which is used in university and psychology departments and film right now in writing. It's a very popular study there as well. But I find that the book is a bit academic, and please, some people told me the other day that they felt like that was their challenge. Like, yes, I'm going to read it now. It's academic. By all means, do that. But the movie is so accessible and inspiring. They use film in it, so as most of you know, Joseph Campbell had a relationship with George Lucas. They were friends, and the Star Wars story sort of was Joseph Campbell, and he sort of worked on that whole piece. And then the other films that they throw in here range from The Wizard of Oz, the Rocky films, to The Lord of the Rings and The Matrix. So this wide variety of storytelling. And you notice, and I always think of Rocky because Mom is here. I remember when we first saw the Rocky movie, I'm going to date myself now, I was, I think, a preteen. Would you say a preteen? We were in our VW van, and we saw it as a family at the outdoor theater. It's true. So we had that little thing on the window, remember? Some of you are like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's a little thing on the window, and to get to go. But I'm just going to do this for all of you, and I want you to just like see what they're saying. Do 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 do. I mean, who, however old you are, doesn't hear that song and like something inside you goes, "Ah, oh, I can do it. I will do well in yoga today. I will lose that weight. I will, be disciplined in my whatever. There's something so universal about that story of Rocky that we all find ourselves in it. That's what was beautiful about that story. And what you'll find in The Lord of the Rings and all these other films and stories, a samurai story in Japan, is that there's this universal truth that all of us can identify, which is, I am the heroine, you are the hero of your own story. And the more that we can really identify with that and see ourselves in that, then we kind of sign up for the adventures and everything that comes with it. And one of the things I love about watching this film again and again is it's somewhere creates a neural pathway in my brain that says, Diana, you're on an adventure. Diana, this is your story. And when things get really challenging and hard, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember signing up for this. I feel like, but you're the hero. So what are you going to do? How are you going to deal with this? How's the next chapter going to look? It's just a beautiful reminder of that. May gave an example when we were here on Sunday, and she said that for her, it really inspired her to want to take risks and be brave, So in that, the very first story that they tell in this film, Finding Joe, is a Thai story from Thailand. And this is a Buddha story. So this was set in a little village in Thailand. And they had a beautiful big statue of Buddha, and this statue was golden. And the village, this was their prize, this golden Buddha. And there was a war stirring, and they knew that the enemy was getting close to the village, and they were certain that if the enemy came, that they would steal the Buddha or destroy the Buddha. And so what they decided to do was to try to protect the Buddha by covering it. And what did they cover it with? Mud and stone and resin. I don't know if they had resin back then. I made that up. And they protected the Buddha so that the enemy would not know that the Buddha was actually golden. And so for years and years, they protected the Buddha until so many years passed that no one in the village remembered that this Buddha was actually golden. So one day, there was a young monk who was meditating at the feet of the Buddha, and a chip fell off of the Buddha. And the chip fell, and he could see through and see that the Buddha was actually golden. And he ran to all the other monks, and he said, the Buddha's golden, the Buddha's golden, right? So this is a metaphor the story is a metaphor. So someone break it down for me. What's the metaphor? What is the story telling us? We're all golden inside. We are all that golden Buddha. And one of the narrators of the film says, what happens is, we're born golden. All of us are born golden in this teaching, in this philosophy. And then we start to get a little bit older, and we go to school, and some education throws mud on us, and some of our peers throw mud on us, and we throw some mud on ourselves, and then maybe some of our family in different ways throw mud on us, and life experience and challenges and hardships throw mud on us until we too forget that we're golden. So this whole quest, this hero's journey that we talk about, Arthurian theory and all of them, really have this idea, Rocky, if you think about it, has this idea that everything that we really want and we need is already within us. And so I always kind of come back to the teachings of the Buddha, because even for those of you on our YouTube channel, you can always see the Buddha behind us. Sometimes the Buddha is standing, sometimes the Buddha is sitting. This last year, the Buddha is standing. And I like to remind you that unlike some other religious paths where you might worship a statue or a deity, in the Buddhist tradition, when you see the Buddha, it's not meant to be like a worshiping, oh, Lord Buddha, I worship you. What is the depiction of the Buddha supposed to do for any or all of us? When you see the Buddha, inspire us. For what? What should it inspire us? That we're all golden, right? That we're all that golden Buddha. So Buddha was an Indian prince, and he became disillusioned. The story of Siddhartha, we're all familiar of his story, and he left his life and went through this hero's journey. And at the end of his, or I shouldn't say the end, at some point in his hero's journey, he became enlightened. He became a bright being. He became the golden Buddha. And instead of ascending, he decided that he wanted to stay and help other people become their own golden Buddha. And so he stayed for 40 years. He traveled and taught these simple teachings of how to take that journey and go within and to become your golden self, to become your enlightened self. We can use different languaging for that. And it is the same philosophy, it is the same teaching of yoga. So yoga philosophy is this: we are all Atman. What is Atman? We are all soul, and our souls were made beautiful and pure and light. And we could refer to that as golden and light. And the yogi's journey is not here, I will get another pose, I will someday do this, I will be stronger, I will be the best yogi on the planet. This is not the quest of the yoga practitioner. The yoga practitioner's quest is always this direction. It's always this direction. To tap into the goldenness, to tap into the Atman, and to live this direction. So I referred to just a little touch here of the kosha. So the koshas are yoga philosophy that says I'm an onion. I have layers of who I am. Dhyana is not just one thing. Dhyana is many layers. And in those layers we have the physical layer, the energetic layer, the mind layer, the wisdom layer, the enlightened layer that surrounds the soul. And those layers are actually referred to as sheaths. So what's a sheath? Who was here before? It's a layer. But Iyengar refers to it, I love this analogy, is again as a metaphor, as a lampshade. So the idea then to have these lampshades is to keep them clear, to keep them clean. And if I keep the layers of who I am clean and clear, then the idea again is my golden Buddha, my soul, my shiny self can shine outward. And I can be that. I can be present in my life from the inside out. So like when we do different cleanses and teachings and stuff here, we talk about how we keep the physical body clean, how we keep it clear, how we keep it sharp, how we keep our energy sharp and clean and clear, how we keep the mind sharp and clean and clear. And we know when those are muddy, those are mucky because we're eating lots of crappy food and we're digesting lots of crappy information, or in relationships that feel crappy. That's my word for today. Then the golden part of us is not able to shine out. So in actuality, these two teachings of the golden Buddha and yoga teachings are the same universal teachings as well. So today we will enjoy doing a yoga practice, and we'll do flexibility and strength and breathing and focus and concentration, all of that to bring all of you this direction. And what I want to finish this conference by saying is this. My job as a yoga teacher is really, of course, to help all of you on your journey, you know, to get stronger, to get more flexible, to have more energy, to be more compassionate, loving, happy beings. So my job as a yoga teacher is really to help facilitate the golden within each of you. That's my job. And I feel like when you do your practice, today we'll do an hour and a half practice, so then the other, do the math, 22 and a half hours, right, are going to be better, are going to be more golden. You're going to be more of yourself, because this is your training place. This is the one thing that you do that's supposed to affect everything else, the way you love, the way you drive, the way you do your job, everything, the way you talk to people. This is supposed to make you more golden for all those other things. And so I kind of end, you know, it's a question for all of you, like, what in your life yoga brings your golden out? Who in your life brings the golden out? And also how do you do that? How do you facilitate that as a parent? Do you strive towards bringing the golden out in your children? Of course you do. You know, as friends, you know, how do you do that? As friends, you strive to bring the golden out in your friends. How do you do that? You know, just simply bumping into people in the world, like at the grocery store or anywhere. Are you that person that brings golden into wherever your path takes you, is my question for myself and all of you this week. Namaste.